Silent Hill Downpour. It's better than Homecoming? I wanna say... maybe? Silent Hill Downpour has gotten some pretty bad reviews, and I can understand why, but I really don't think this is a terrible game. It's just a troubled game. It's got some things I really liked, some things I hated, and some things I just wondered, why? I'll avoid heavy spoilers first here, so I'll just give a basic rundown. You control Murphy Pendleton. He ends up in Silent Hill after escaping and wandering through some mines after a bus crash during a prisoner transfer. Now, going through mines might not seem like the obvious choice, but look at what he had to deal with if he tried to go the other way.
Whoa! Guess I'm not going that way.
Yep, you're truly trapped there, Murph. Well, I suppose you could swim to freedom.
Water's freezing.
Murphy, you are the laziest escapee I've ever seen. You won't jump a fallen tree or go for a cold swim, but you're gonna make it through Silent Hill? Yeah, good luck with that. Murphy seems like a bit of a confused individual, though, as he spends his time trying to get to Silent Hill first, and then upon arriving, immediately writes down that escaping the town is his next objective. Jeez, Murph, at least give the town a chance to scar you for life before trying to run away from it. Something Downpour at least got a bit better than Homecoming's over-focus on combat and then Shattered Memory's complete lack of it was having a bit more of a balance. However, this said, I'm not that crazy about the actual battle mechanics, because guess what we got with this one? Destructible weapons. Now, yeah, for some it does kind of make sense, but really? Oh, well, it's done. Yeah, it really shouldn't have busted from that, but you know, I destroy everything I touch. As everything breaks in this game, it means a lot of picking up items, and there are a lot of things that can be used as a weapon, but here's one of the issues. You can only hold one melee weapon at a time, and you never know what you're picking up, be it another melee weapon or an item, so guess what happens? This frying pan is alright, but I'm sure it can do better damage trying to swing a chair. Yeah, I sure do like my crowbar, but oh look, a rock! When you get a firearm, you can at least holster that and keep a melee weapon at the ready. However, should you pull your firearm, you'll decide that the ground truly is the best storage for them. Ah, shit, another monster coming. I think I'll just try to gun this one down instead of knifing it. I should just put my knife in my pocket. Or I'll just, leave it down there. Yeah, that's the better choice. That way I can come back and pick it up when I want it again. That's not annoying or anything. It's kind of the thing with a lot of games these days that they try to be more realistic with very limited item storage, but you think you could at least keep one weapon on your person, at least when you're using your firearm, and seriously, I'll drag around all this junk, but yeah, my knife in my pocket, that'd really weigh me down. And now, let's discuss how the monsters in this game reflect aspects of Murphy's personality. And moving on. Seriously, do these monsters have anything to do with Murphy? And really, these are possibly the dullest, uninspired monsters I've seen in a Silent Hill game. I mean, besides that stupid smoker in Homecoming, but in Downpour there's only a handful of enemies and they scream someone trying their best to imitate what a Silent Hill monster would be like without really understanding. Now, the monsters apparently relate more to the policewoman chasing you, Anne, and this would be fine, but the connection still seems very weak and these monsters are bland. But hey, they didn't resort to using a sexy, faceless nurse, so there's that. And now, let me show you one of the enemies I really hated, the evil police car. Now, for me, it's not even the fact that if the police car sees you, it drops a bunch of monsters off for you to fight. It's the fact that the Silent Hill monsters have banded together to make their own little police force and are driving a squad car around looking for normal people to drop monsters off to. That just seems a little too silly. It seems like something more like you'd see in one of the joke endings than in the actual gameplay. And then it pops up an objective right after to stop the cars. This part just seemed too video gamey to me, so to speak, and kind of took me out of the game. Oh, and stop the patrol cars? Never bothered with it. I just ran from this encounter and never got caught by the car again. In fact, the only reason I did get caught the first time was I had no idea what the police car meant, so I was trying to get to it. And actually, for the most part, you're going to find that fleeing is the better option for most enemies. The destructible weapons kind of help in that decision, and for the most part, you don't even have to run very far before the enemy will vanish or not follow anymore. The main times you'll actually want to stand your ground and fight is if they're in a closed-off area that you still need to look around. And if you decide to run from a lot of the enemies, I sure hope you don't get tired of running, because guess what the other world has in store for you? Running! Every single time you go to the other world in Downpour, you'll end up getting greeted by this red vortex-y thing that chases you around for a bit. Because nothing says Silent Hill more to me than running from red lights.
That was supposed to be the exit, but it seems that no one wants you to leave.
Okay, besides that one time. These parts seem to have been partly inspired by Shattered Memories' chase sequences, right down to knocking things over to slow the enemy down, though why it slows down a floating red vortex thing, I'm not really sure. What makes this an issue for me in Downpour is the fact that it's one of the major gameplay elements when you go to the other world, as it happens every single time you go there, and it's not the kind of fear I want generated from a Silent Hill title. One, there's nothing overly scary or disturbing about a red vortex, and two, this is just a panic rush chase, and these things really don't make me feel scared, they just make me get really annoyed and curse at the TV. Which I did, especially if I died. Oh, for fuck's sake, how was I supposed to know and do that fucking vortex? Yes. I want the feeling of dread and the other world trying to get in your head, and you're worried about what could be beyond every corner, not just madly dashing through hallways from a vortex that's never given any context. And this leads me to an important fact about this game. It never really comes close to generating the same kind of atmosphere as the first Silent Hill games did, and to me this is one of Downpour's greatest failings. However, it does have a good amount of moments that I actually enjoy, and it does do things I would find more creepy had its overall tone been set a bit better, and I do like the lens effect when you're switching to the other world, and it does at least look like the other world. Well, most of the time. During this giant clock sequence, I really did almost forget that I was still in the other world. Because, you know, there are a bunch of giant clock worlds in real life, Phelous, you idiot. But it's Silent Hill. The other world also seems to be made up of a lot of avoiding the blades or spikes moments, which are just kind of dull and not fear-inducing. In fact, dull could describe a few too many things in this game, like the puzzles. I found a lot of them not really in line with a Silent Hill game. Now yes, Silent Hills had some basic puzzles like getting passcodes before, but I want more things like written in blood with creepy poems or stories to them. Not things like pressing letters to get a train moving. And now... damn it, where was I going with this review? I can't find where to go next. There are a lot of spots in this game, especially near the start, where you can find yourself just stuck in an area not knowing where to go next. See what I did there? At least to me this happened a few times, and then it was always just a stupid thing like my camera angle missed a ladder by a building, I didn't see a crack in the wall that you could actually go through, or I didn't notice a boarded up spot was actually breakable. This is also a game that seemingly punishes you if you try to save up ammo and health for the end of the game. There's a couple areas where you'll lose items, such as your gun, and the first time this happened, I hadn't even fired a shot. In fact, the second time, I had a lot of ammo saved up as well. I only ended up using the pistol once in a sort of boss battle. But you do get a shotgun to replace it towards the end, and that's worth it. I used this a lot because, well, you know, I got a shotgun. Should I really go on with this video now that I've hit the obvious high point of saying I got a shotgun, and if I dare make more comparisons to the previous games in the Silent Hill series? I hope you're not actually clicking one of those. I've yet to develop an effect to the video by clicking part of the video button. One of the major factors in what ending you'll receive is your morality, which consists of how many enemies you fight or flee from, performing certain side quests, and a couple decisions. And yeah, I really do only mean a couple. I thought this was going to be an ongoing element to the gameplay, but it happens twice during and then once at the end, which is the other direct determiner of the ending you'll receive. So now, let's go over the most important character in Silent Hill Downpour, the DJ. Throughout earlier parts, you'll hear the DJ playing songs in dedication to you, which, yeah, is kinda strange, so you head over to the radio station and find him there as an actual person.
Look, man, I came through hell and high water to get here because you called me. Now cut the bullshit, because I don't have time for this.
Thank God someone finally heard me. I can't even tell you how long this man just been in record after record after record.
Apparently, Silent Hill has drugged this guy into it to endlessly DJ. Seriously, I'd like to know what he did that they decide his punishment would be endless DJing. This character serves absolutely no purpose other than saying he has a boat, which you know is something you don't need someone to say, and then the monsters call him to let him know his time is up.
They're coming.
Oh crap, are the Silent Hill monsters gonna hire a new DJ? Because their police force might get pretty bored in their squad cars with nothing to listen to. Don't you think this part would have worked better if the DJ wasn't actually really there when you arrived? It was just a disembodied voice sending out the dedications to you? That really seems like how one of the earlier games would have handled this. That's another thing with the newer Silent Hill games. Too many pointless people. Except for that mailman. I always wanted to know how those memos got around town. It was all this guy delivering the mail. Or maybe not, I don't know. I lied, he's pointless. The scenes all go like this. Hey, I know a lot more than I'm saying. Why don't you just tell me then? Nope, I gotta deliver the mail, because the demon forces of Silent Hill need their Queen Burger coupons. And there's another issue with saving low Downpour, which is... okay, that's really not necessary right now. And the issue is... stop doing that. Oh, now what's going on? Ah, stop it! Why can't I move right? Ah, damn it! I need to get to the next part of the review! Oh yes, get ready to see this screen a lot, and when it pops up, it's there for a while. The game also auto-saves constantly, which wouldn't really bother me as much if it was actually creating a save point every time it did this, but it's not. So if you want to see if it actually created a new save point, you need to check where you can load from before you stop your game. And some of these not really saving save points pop up every time you walk by an area. And also, choppiness! There are multiple spots in this game where the frame rate will drop from either another auto save point or just the game loading. I find these issues being in a current generation game to be absolutely ridiculous, and you think for the damn amount of loading time that you think everything would be loaded when it finishes and it could run smooth, but no! This really was a constant issue in the game, and even when you died, the game would have to load for a couple minutes before you could try it again. Not even Silent Hill 1 had these kinds of load times. Now, one of the major pluses for Downpour was its storyline, which I felt was actually really well done. But before I go over the storyline a bit, I'm going to sum up the game for those who wish to avoid major spoilers. Gameplay mechanics are kinda wonky, there being multiple ways to accidentally drop a weapon you don't really mean to, being pulling your firearm, the run button being beside the throw a weapon button, which I did accidentally quite a bit near the beginning, picking up a weapon you didn't really want because you weren't sure what it was, and the cancel button also being a drop weapon button. Also, using keys and items has been made needlessly more complicated, so instead of just using the right key or item if you have it, you need to select it from your item list, and they have made maps and memos have auto-lock points, which just make it annoying when you zoom into it. You know, instead of being free roaming, like every other game in the series. I found this made reading the map so annoying that I usually try to avoid doing it. I also really miss the characters commenting on weird things if you click on them. Hearing your character's thoughts on some of these bizarre things was always fun. The Otherworld has the infuriating run from the vortex sequences that make your character extra annoying if you get caught by it. Shut up! Shut up! It does, however, look like the Otherworld. Well, most of the time. And there really are parts of the Otherworld done well. I just don't find the chase sequences part of them. Much like Shattered Memories, the story is one of the things that I really find elevates this title, but the atmosphere never quite reaches what I'd like from a Silent Hill game. Don't get me wrong, it's not awful, but there's hardly the same sense of dread from just opening a door or going around a corner like there was in the original games. And yes, imagine me comparing a Silent Hill game to the previous Silent Hill games. What an unfair comparison! I'm not saying Downpour is without merit. I actually think it's a decent game, but as a Silent Hill game, it's got a bit to be desired. It does have good replayability with the side quests and multiple endings, but I think unless you're really into horror games or just gotta play every Silent Hill title like me, you might want to wait on this one. Are you guys ready for the story? I'm ready for the story. Let's discuss the story! Which I'm gonna do now! Okay?
Are we going to do this, or are you just wasting my time?
It's a tale of revenge for multiple characters in it, and it really felt like it came together towards the end. The main character, Murphy's son, was murdered, so he purposely got himself arrested to take revenge on his son's killer. However, in order to get this opportunity, he had to make a deal with the scuzzy guard, Sewell. This deal ends up being that he wants you to take care of someone else, and that ends up being another guard, Coleridge, whose only crime was trying to bring to light the underhanded dealings of Sewell. And Coleridge had always been good and tried to help out Murphy. There is a slight issue I had, though, with them making Murphy seem a little too clean in certain endings.
Yeah, I thought you might say that. No! What about Napier? The guy kills your boy. You go through all the trouble of getting yourself locked up with him, and what happens? I serve him to you like a fucking Christmas goose, and you can't even finish the job. No, I gotta go in there and finish the bastard off for you.
That line makes it seem almost odd that Murphy goes through Silent Hill at all, and I really wish it wasn't there. I like that Murphy stands his ground on not killing Coleridge, but he should have been the one to kill his child's killer so that he is still guilty of something. You see your child's killer in the form of the Boogeyman. Now, I'm not really huge on the continued use of this name in Silent Hill, but hey, at least the Boogeyman wasn't Pyramid Head this time, so we at least got that. He's just a Pyramid Headish character. It also gets revealed that the police officer, Anne, who continues to chase you down through Silent Hill, has a very personal reason for doing so. She was Coleridge's daughter, and she believed Murphy to be a part of his death. However, it gets revealed that he wasn't. Well, most of the time anyway, depends on the ending. Which, by the way, the apparent second best ending, bad morality but you spare Anne at the end, is totally the actual best ending. It has almost every element to the A ending but drops any repercussions coming to Sewell. Now, I get the reasoning behind this is that she doesn't try to go for revenge, but I really think it should have at least seen something happen to him, like him getting sent to prison for his deeds, but without seeing anything, the supposed best ending has this piece of shit apparently just getting away with it. I'm sorry, I much prefer that he gets what's coming to him. As I've said, I find the overall story effective, and I'm glad to see one that truly seems original, but I feel like instead of meeting more almost randomish characters, we could have had more like JP that related to Murphy's story and given him more moral choices. Instead of characters that Silent Hill apparently just dick around with by having them perform odd jobs for eternity. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta run! But let's give it a second! Come on! Come on! Transition! Now I gotta run! From a red vortex!